Let's give you the markets update now, and local trade will be hoping to undo the JSE's muted performance yesterday and the Rand's steady moves below the 18 Rand to the dollar mark. This after better than expected consumer inflation data, while investors focused on the outcome of the Reserve Bank's Monetary Policy Committee meeting today. Chief Investment Officer at Makwe Fund Managers is Makwe Masilela. He joins us now to give us a quick sense of how the markets are shaping up in early trade. But Masilela, thank you for your time. Let's quickly touch on the quick overview of how the JSE is performing in early trade, particularly as it ended the session muted, including the Rand holding steady somewhat.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we opened muted, and all because attention is turning to the tech sector, and reason being we've seen Netflix, their Q2 revenue missed estimates, even though they managed to increase streaming customers. And also, market participants are not impressed with China's pledge when it comes to supporting their private economy, and as expected, the People's Bank of China left interest rates unchanged.
Focus today will be on the Reserve Bank's Monetary Policy Committee. They will be delivering on the interest rates decision later today. To hike or not to hike? What will the verdict be?
I think not to hike will be the best option and is more realistic. Number one, they're keeping on telling us that they are here to fight inflation. As we said in the intro, we've seen that inflation has come down. Yesterday it showed that inflation is at 5.4%. And it's not only as per Comier, even the UK inflation is going down, even the US inflation is going down. I mean, just even take the likes of Germany itself. We've seen today their producer price inflation going down, and which happens to be the paymaster of Europe. Generally, inflation is coming down. So the guys had an excuse that they are fighting this stubborn inflation. So now there's signs that at least it's coming down. But unfortunately, economies are not doing that great as yet. So as much as our mandate is not a dual mandate to take care of interest rates and of inflation and at the same time of economic growth, but they always tell us that they consider the employment, the economy generally when they make their decisions. And so far, our numbers are not looking okay when it comes to the economy. Just yesterday, we've seen our retail sales figures going down by 1.4%, and retail sales happens to be a very good indicator when it comes to consumer demand, and bearing in mind that our economy is more than 60% driven by consumer demand. So I think they should just pause, then give all these moves that they've done before to start working into the economy.
So strong sentiment there from Mr. Masilela that perhaps the Reserve Bank governor should press the pause button on hiking the rates. Let's talk company news. BHP Group publishing a quarterly report for the year which ended on the 30th of June 2023. Talk us through their numbers.
This is the world's biggest miler, and we have seen that their Q4 production when it comes to iron ore, unfortunately, it has been disappointing, but it was expected given that China being the biggest consumer, we've seen that they've not been demanded because the economy is not growing, bearing in mind that iron ore is used in steel making, so we know that there's good demand for steel when economies are growing, and unfortunately, this is the lowest level in 4 years, and also the average prices when it comes to iron ore are down almost 18%. And earlier this week, we've seen their competitor Rio Tinto also telling us that their shipments when it comes to iron ore has been dropping. And you look into copper itself, the production managed to go up by 9%, but unfortunately prices were down 12%, all because if economies are not growing, there's no need to have a demand when it comes to these industrial metals.
Karoo's first quarter of the 2024 results also out. How are their numbers looking?
The guys managed to increase their subscribers numbers by 14%, but that was impacted by challenges by Comier and challenges caused mainly by load shedding. Reason being, load shedding has caused the economy not to be growing, and as a result, people are not confident about their future, and chances are high employment will continue to persist. So when people are struggling, it's easy to cancel or not to subscribe to the likes of your car track, stuff like that, even though in other instances it's a must that insurance requires that. But if you're struggling, then it's easy for consumers to cancel that. But we've seen their group revenue going up by 24%, with subscriber revenue going up by 18%, and also when you look into their cash generation from operation is up 7%, and their cash and net cash position is up by almost 33%. So the guys are not doing that bad.
Let's conclude the conversation with Northern Platinum, which has published its acceptance of the mandatory offer from Implats in respect of the Northern's total of 34.5% interest in Royal Bafokeng Platinum. What's the latest there?
They accepted, and if it goes to using the current prices, they should be getting at least 4.1 billion. And their reasoning is as follows. When they were acquiring the shares, PGM prices went up by almost 41%. But since then, PGM prices have been going down, and now as it is, they're down almost 35%. And the general environment when it comes to the PGM is not that okay. Hence, we see profit margins being squeezed, and also the capacity to generate cash is not looking that great. And the guys, they stand a good chance because now that will strengthen their balance sheet, increase their liquidity position, and the guys can either use that to declare a maiden dividend. They can either have a formal policy, dividend policy. They can either even involve into share buybacks, which is rewarding for long-term shareholders, or they can even use the money to pay down some of the third-party debt.
Makwe Masilela is Chief Investment Officer and founder at Makwe Fund Managers. Thank you very much for that markets update. All right.